Hey everyone, this week we'll be making one of my favorite things to give as a present to someone. I learned this recipe and method from a YouTuber named Chainbaker, mentioned many times already, and it's been in my rotation constantly for baking. It does require some time and effort, but just enough where it shows my appreciation for whoever's receiving them without driving me crazy. So before we start, apparently a lot of my viewers still aren't subscribed, so if you've been enjoying my cooking content, leave a like and subscribe. It does help me out a bit. So this definitely isn't my recipe, but I doubled Chainbaker's recipe to make a dozen. To start off in my mixing bowl, I have 600 grams of bread flour, 12 grams of salt, 8 grams of yeast, and 100 grams of sugar. To this, I'll add in 360 grams of milk. I like to give everything a good mix before I start using my stand mixer. This usually leads to me not having to scrape down the sides of the bowl as often. Begin to turn on your mixer and let it run for around 5 minutes to build some gluten. We want to build some gluten before we add in our butter, as adding in too much fat in the beginning hinders gluten development. After around 5 minutes, your dough should look something like this and be uniform. At this point, we could start in and add in a stick of butter or 150 grams a little bit at a time. When the dough has absorbed or taken in most of the butter, we can add in the next bit. Your dough may break down at some point, but no worries. Scrape down the sides and keep mixing it. Should take anywhere from an extra 3 to 5 minutes, I would say. When the dough is finished mixing, shape it into a ball, cover it with some plastic wrap, and let it ferment anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how hot your kitchen is. After the first initial proof or fermenting time period, your dough should have risen a bit. Take it out and give it a good fold and reshape it back into a ball. This will help equalize the temperature of the dough and help create more tension as well. All you gotta do is take all the sides and fold it towards the middle, then flip it back over and then start shaping it into a ball again by pulling against the surface. When you're done shaping, place it back into a bowl, cover it with some plastic wrap, and let it ferment again for another 45 minutes to an hour. After the second proof, the dough definitely should have risen almost twice its size. Dust the top with flour and place the dough flour side down. We'll now divide the dough into 2 equal portions, and I use the scale to help make it accurate. When the dough has been divided, we'll now pre-shape our dough into round balls again, similar to how we folded our dough beforehand. We want to do this so we have a general shape to work with later on when we roll out our dough. After pre-shaping, cover it with some plastic wrap and let it rest for 15 minutes to let the gluten relax, so rolling it out becomes easier later. While we wait for our dough to relax, let's make the sugar filling. I have 140 grams or 1 1/4 sticks of softened butter. I'll add in a mixture of 140 grams of sugar, 6 grams of cinnamon, and 6 grams of ground cardamom. Mix everything together until combined and smooth. Back to rolling out our dough. We'll roll them out one at a time. Dust the top with flour and flip them over. On the other side, dust it as well, and then proceed to press it out a bit with your hands and fingers to a general rectangular shape. I'm now going to roll my dough to around a 16 by 12 inch rectangle. You don't have to exactly make it that size, but have the dough thickness relatively thin, but you also have to make it not thin to the point where you can see through it. I know it's hard to explain, but it'll take some experience to get the right feel, as I'm still learning to this day on how to improve. Once you have the dough rolled out, take half of your sugar filling and start spreading it all over your dough. We want it covering all of the dough by the end. When finished, we will now do a letter fold. Grab one end and fold it up a third of the way, and grab the top end and fold it down so it will cover the other side. Once I finish one piece of dough, I'm now going to repeat for the second one. Just do the same steps. This is actually great practice if you enjoy making this a lot, which I do. So my skills have been definitely improving a little bit at a time. I'm still not perfect. As you can see, there's a small little tear at the very end, so don't worry too much. Alright, now that we're done, take your folded up dough and let the longer side face you. You can dust the flour a bit, but we want to roll it upwards a bit before we take a ruler and divide this into 6 equal parts. Now you want to make the cuts into 6 equal strips, relatively around the same size. I don't have a machine and I'm not an expert baker once again, so try the best to your abilities. Once you divide out all the parts, we will now cut the strips in half, but not all the way. Leave a bit at the end so it's still connected, just like I've shown right here. Now to actually assemble the cardamom twist. This is a little confusing, so I'll try my best to explain it in words. You can always just follow my hands as well, as it may be easier. You want to crisscross the two divided strips and also twist them as well. Then we want to wrap them around while making sure the ends are underneath so it'll be covered. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not the best at this yet, and I'm not the best at explaining it, so I'll also link Chainbaker's video in the description below so you can watch it. He definitely does a better job than I do. In this video, I just wanted to show all the time and effort it takes to make this pastry. This is why I feel like it's such a good gift for anyone, as you took time out of your day to make something like this. I hope whoever you gift this to, if you decide to make this cardamom twist, appreciates it very much. After making all our pastries, cover it with plastic wrap and let it final proof for 30 to 45 minutes. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit while it's final proofing. We want them puffed up, and to know if they're ready, I like to do a finger poke test. If the dough springs back quickly, it's not ready yet. If it slowly springs back, you're good to go. If it doesn't spring back at all, then it's overproof. You'll get the hang of it once you bake more, but regardless, it will all taste good considering all that butter and sugar you're consuming. Now I'm going to brush my pastries with some egg wash, which is a beaten egg with a splash of milk on it. This will help give the pastries a nice brown exterior when we bake it. I sprinkle some sugar sprinkles on top, but this step is totally optional. You can also add in some chopped pistachios or any type of nuts as well. It's up to you. Time to finally stick these trays into the oven. We'll want to bake them for 30 minutes or until they're nice and golden brown like this. Just letting you know, the smell's going to be amazing while they're baking. Now, one final step we can do to take it to the next level is brush it with some simple syrup. All you have to do is melt some sugar in hot water until dissolved and then brush it over the cardamom twists. It will give it a nice, shiny exterior. Finally, transfer over to a wire rack to cool, and now you make cardamom twists. They're soft and fluffy while not being too sweet. These go super well with coffee or tea, and I love giving these out as gifts to friends. So if you do, let me know as well. As always, I hope you all give this a shot, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Hey everyone, thanks for watching my video, and if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and follow my Instagram at Weekend Cooks. Thanks for the support everyone.